Morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, October the 28th. We'll begin at approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. He'll be followed by Coach Eddie Robinson with Alabama State from 10:15 to 10:25. Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State will join us from 10:25 to 10:35. Coach Raymond Woodie with Bethune-Cookman will be from 10:35 to 10:45. Coach James Colzie with Florida A&M will be from 10:45 to 10:55. Coach Mickey Joseph with Grambling State will join us from 10:55 to 11:05. Coach Alonzo Hampton will be from 11:05 to 11:15. Coach Kendrick Wade, Mississippi Valley State will be from 11:15 to 11:25. Coach Bubba McDowell with Prairie View A&M will be from 11:25 to 11:35. Coach Terence Graves with Southern University will be from 11:35 to 11:45. Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern will be from 11:45 to 11:55. And Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State will close our media session from 11:55 to 12:05. Just quick updates and reminders. If you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. We ask you please ensure that your lines are muted unless you're actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. We'll be back here in a couple minutes with Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Thank you so much for joining us and appreciate your patience. Once again, for our media participants that are joining us on the call, if you do have a question for any of our head coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature. Get your question in the queue. Please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question, and please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you are actively asking a question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
You're pretty good, Coach. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you could, Coach, start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
Yeah, went to Birmingham and to play the 83rd McDonald's Mag City Classic presented by Coca-Cola. Almost always a great game. It's a rivalry game, so you throw the records out, but it's stayed against A&M, and so we knew it was going to be a good game. We knew they had a great defense. They always do. I think they're number 4 in the nation, and we just didn't play very well the first half. Overthrew balls, lined up wrong, ran wrong routes, and got off to a slow start. And they got off to a good start. Got off 10 zip on us, and uh, I went for it on fourth down on my own 30, and we didn't get it. And the results of that was a touchdown. We're down 17 to zip. So now we're fighting uphill against one of the best defenses in the nation, and And, third quarter we came out, got a good return, and got the ball at the plus 40-yard line, and we didn't do anything with it. Next possession, we hit a pass down the middle, got the ball to the 40 again, and didn't do nothing with it. And that was kind of deflating because we was down and we needed to change that momentum, and we didn't do it. And we got going late in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, we went back-to-back drives and scored and cut it to five. Cut it to 8 points with 5 minutes to play, and we got the ball back, and we were driving again, and they made a great play on the pass down the middle. Xavier was a little late on the throw, but they made a great play on it, and we thought we can get the ball back again. Well, we could have. We just need to stop them because we still had two timeouts with one 2-minute warning left, and on 3rd and 12, they hit a big play on us and ended the football game. So. And when the results we wanted, our guys didn't give up. Got to take your hats off to Eddie. He had his guys ready to play, and they won the football game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll know up there for questions. First question goes to Jim Klein.
Yeah, Coach, I'd like to get a confirmation on how many interceptions Terence Graves had against you in that game y'all played back in the 1990s.
He didn't have any. He didn't have any. He was a good player, but he didn't have any.
Yeah, well, just tell me a little bit of what you remember about that game. And I know you know Coach Graves from a long time back, and what it's going to be like going against him.
He's tough. He's tough. He's a good football coach. He's been around a long time. He got a lot of passion for the football game, and it's just gonna be a good football game. They coming off a loss. They can't afford to have another loss. They 3-1. They still tied for first place. So, they feel their backs against the wall. They can't lose again, and we got a home game, and we got 2 losses, so we feel we can't lose again. We need to win out, and so it's just gonna be a good SWAC football game, man. But they're gonna roll their sleeves, gonna roll up our sleeves. It's always a good game when we play Southern University.
Do you remember much about that game?
I don't, man. I had a lot of concussions, so some games I can remember, but most of them I can't. To be honest with you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. How you doing?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm well.
Coach, after a rivalry game like this, what are some of the things that you hear as a head coach from your fan base and or your alumni?
I haven't heard anything, I don't personally, I don't read blogs and things of that nature. Good or bad. That's just people opinion. So I don't let that I don't read into that. I don't buy into that either way, good or bad. If we playing well, if we undefeated, if we not playing well, we 500 or we got one win. Because that's what they paid it. They Monday morning quarterbacks. They get to pay for their opinion, and so their opinion is their opinion. So I don't hear a lot. The diehard fans will say, "Hey, Coach Tough one, man, keep your head up. Let's get them this week. We got another game. Take them one at a time. If we went out, we 8-4, man. 8-4 is a good football season. It won't be what we want because we probably won't be in the championship game or the Celebration Bowl, but 8-4 is a good football season. So we just got to start back today, win tomorrow, win next week, and just keep winning one game at a time and have the best season we can. And that's 8-4.
And Coach, if you could talk about some of the challenges as a head coach to get your team back up emotionally after a rivalry game like this against Alabama State to prepare for Southern University coming into town.
Well, it's always tough. It's just like after homecoming. Homecoming is such a big game for everybody. So many people show up, but it's always the same. We got to stay focused. We can't worry about the outside distractions. So the Classic is over with now. We got to move on to this week. It's always the next game is the biggest game on the season, and you got to worry about that game that night, Saturday night, and then Sunday. You got to watch the tape, learn from it, and you got to move on to your next opponent. So it's the same thing. We have to move on. We got to get better. We got to correct the mistakes that we made and don't make them again. And we got to get ready to play this week.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Can't hear you, Doc.
Oh, can you hear me now, Coach?
Sure.
How you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
I know you're coming off a tough loss against the rival Alabama State. What are the things you want to try to do as far as getting the rushing attack going, where you only had 61 yards and you averaged only 2.3 yards a carry?
Yeah, we got to do a better job of double team blocks and getting down the field, get some push. You know, we're staying on the line of scrimmage. We're not playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and we got to do a better job of that. Our offensive linemen got to get their pass down. They got to play on the other side, and the running backs got to do a better job also of being their own blocker, making somebody miss, getting that ball in the right hand, using that offhand to make somebody miss and get some yak yards after contact. So it's a combination.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, you talk a little bit about Xavier Langford's year. Looked like he hit some big passes toward the end. Has he been struggling with consistency?
Yeah, well, this year he's actually played pretty decent, you know, from when he took over as the starter. Um, second quarter of Jackson game and that whole second half, he played great. Homecoming, he played great. This game, he didn't play so well the first half. He just wasn't there for whatever reason. You know, the classic, you know, he's been around, so he know how big the classic is. He probably put too much pressure on himself. I try to get him just take some deep breaths and calm down and play one play at a time. And but he was excited, man. He wasn't himself the first half, and so we took him out and put Quad in, and Quad played a couple of one series before half and the first two series after the half, and then we brought Xavier back in, and he played more like himself this second half, and leading us to some drives. And that last interception again, if he throws a little bit earlier or put a little bit air on it and throw it over the top of the defense, we got a big play right there. So he played good the second half. He played bad the first half. Yeah, got to be more consistent.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, man. Good
Yes,
luck
sir.
there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to pause here momentarily, and when we return, we'll be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question, please utilize raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. All right, next up, we will be joined by Coach Eddie Robinson with Alabama State. Once again, if you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could just start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Yeah, the Magic City Classic, great crowd. Like I told the kids, you don't have to give a speech if if you drive up to the stadium and not ready to play, then just, turn in your helmet and your uniform. So I think both teams came out ready to play. We got off to a pretty good start. I was able to score early. The defense, true to form, play like I expected them to play in the first half. Was able to get a lead, got 27-3, and have to give Coach Maynor and those guys a lot of credit. They never gave up. They came right back at us. Just what you expect in the Classic. Is never going to be where one team gets too big of a lead, and the kids were chippy. It was a lot of excitement in the air, and both teams played extremely hard, and they were able to come back and close it. Was able to get 2 touchdowns and two-point conversions, and cut it to an 8-point possession game where they had the ball, and we was able to make an interception late. So I thought both teams played extremely hard. Super competitive game. With these games, you're just always fortunate to get a win. If you win by 1 point, you're just happy, and to get out of there. It was a last end of the game interception. My 2 freshmen played really well. Coach, Kareem Key, the freshman quarterback, showed a lot of poise, did a good job of not turning the ball over, and I think that was the biggest thing in the game. We were able to create 4 turnovers and not turn the ball over. And had another kid, Tayshawn Sims, who's a freshman that plays on all the special teams, playing a lot at safety. Got an interception for a touchdown. So just a great moment for him. And those 2 guys were able to win the MVP. So it was just a great experience when you have young guys that can step up in this game. And I always tell the guys in these type of games, is going to be an unsung hero, a kid that you don't expect to make a play. And I think Tayshawn was that kid that stepped up and made that big play. So the turnovers were a big part of it, and that helped us to get out of there with a W. But always fortunate to compete in the Magic City Classic, and when you can get a win, you're just very appreciative. So just love the way both teams competed. The whole weekend was great. McDonald's is a sponsor, Coca-Cola, both of those companies do a great job with the luncheons and everything else. So definitely, to me, the best HBCU Classic, and I know a lot of guys on the call played some great ones. So going into this week, we have Alcorn State going down to Mobile. So it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a tough one because both teams are in the same situation, and we have 1 loss in the conference. They have 1 loss in the West. So we both understand that we're in the same position. So it's going to be a strain. It's going to be they beat us last year in overtime, so we know what they bring to the table. A lot of respect for Coach Thomas and everything he's going to do. They had a bye week, so we know that those guys will be healthy and ready to play. So we have to get past this Magic City Classic deal and get back to work and win each day.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How's it going?
I'm doing good. On Saturday, you dominated time of possession and pretty much the line of scrimmage with over 200 yards rushing, which at a 5, you rushed for over 5 yards to carry. What was the things that you did as far as adjustments for this game from last game that you kind of put together for your rushing attack?
Well, I think from our rushing attack is, we want to run the football. We got some big guys up front. We want to be physical. We want to play downhill. And then the backs have to make the 8th and 9th guy miss. A lot of teams are going to bring that extra guy in the box, and we can't block them all. So then that's when our backs have to make a play. We had a big run at the end that was about a 50 or 60 yarder, so it wasn't as dominating as it may have seemed on paper. I thought they did a good job of not allowing us to just, methodically take control of the game in the running game. So, but we definitely have to stay the course with running the football. We have to take the pressure off the young quarterback, and we can't expect him to throw it 40 times a game.
And to segue to your quarterback, how you feel about his maturation in Kareem Key, even though it was his second full game as a starter?
Yeah, well, he's just a poised quarterback, and I think that's the biggest thing he brings to the table. After our first couple games, we had a bye week. We had a scout team, competition, scrimmage. A lot of guys do it, and he went out there and just was very, very poised and just ran the offense after basically being a quarterback for 1 week in this situation. And so, I told him then, just in the chuckle, like, hey, man, you're going to win the Magic City Classic MVP. And 5 weeks later, it kind of happened. So if I could find a lottery number and make that same guess again, I'll feel good. But you just kind of see that in him. He has the poise and that aspect of it, and that's something that you can't really teach at the quarterback position. And he's able to pick up the offense extremely fast. So he's a really smart kid, and he loves football.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Super fantastic. How are you?
Good. Doing well.
Coach, let's talk about Daquan Kinsey. 18 rushes for 156 yards. Make a case for him to be player of the week for the offense.
Yeah, I think that stat was a little bit off. I think he was probably like around 105 and 110, something like that. But yeah, he's the guy that we have to get going. He had a toe injury a couple weeks ago. And so after that Miles game, we couldn't just get him going. Now he's back healthy. So that's guy, he has to be a big part of what we're doing. And I mean, he's a load to bring down, physical downhill runner, and can still make people miss, and has the speed to go the distance. So great kid, great work ethic, comes to work every day, ready to practice, just very humble. And so now that he's over that injury, we expect his workload to increase.
And Amon Scarborough, Coach, 8 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, a breakup, and an INT.
Yeah, I mean, he was the Madison City Classic MVP last year. He's a kid that's from the Birmingham area and loves the game. Senior, wish I could get him another year, but he brings the swagger to this team, and caught that interception with a broken thumb. So that was pretty big on his part. But he definitely is a kid that just plays better and better each week, and he's definitely our emotional guy, big leader back there, and does a lot of good things for us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So Alabama State, you guys are moving in conference play right along. You're right at second place. How do you plan to maintain this offensive momentum going into next week and the next couple of weeks with you right there right before you head into going against Jackson State, and what you're going to be going up against? How do you maintain that offensive momentum that you were able to get against Alabama A&M?
Yeah, we just want to be consistently good, especially from the quarterback position. My thing, and I tell the whole team, consistently good equals great. You don't go out there and try to be a great player, just do your job and it works out. Beyond that, we're focused on Alcorn and being more specific. We're trying to win Monday in the classroom, win Monday being disciplined, win Monday watching film. So it's a win today philosophy, try to live in the present. So we're not even focused on the next couple of weeks. We just have to keep getting better each week. We're going to have a tough game against Alcorn. They have just as much to play for as we do. Great coaches down there, and got a lot of respect for what they're going to bring to the table, playing hard and physical. So the kids are worrying about Monday, and we're worrying about Alcorn on Saturday.
Hey, good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we got one more question. The question goes to Perry Daniels.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask about your fan base and your alumni, and what do you hear after winning the Magic City Classic from that group?
Well, I tell you like this. One of my NFL coaches told me one time, if you win 2 games in a row, the whole city loves you. If you lose 2 games in a row, they want to fire you. So it's right now we've won 2 games in a row, so they're probably way too excited. But we know if we lose 2 games in a row, it'll go exactly the opposite direction. So everybody's excited, and we love that. But for us, we have to stay right where we are, which is winning each day. But you love that. That's the fans' job. It's their job to get excited and to do all of the predictions and expectations. It's our job to come out here and win Monday. And as long as we have that approach, then we'll be okay.
Fair enough, Coach. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we will go to Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State. We'll be back momentarily. All right, we're now joined by Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time out of your busy schedule to join us. Coach, obviously, this past week, bye week for your program. So if you just start us out, just kind of reassessing and recapping your bye week.
Just want to hit the academics hard, make sure, midterm grades, where we wanted to be. And also just kind of reflect on these 8 games that we had and hit the weight room, get healthy as much as we could, trying to clean up some things and just let the guys get away for a minute. We had, one of the players I had recruited from the area, Stank King from St. Joe, get murdered, in Greenville over the weekend, just an unfortunate situation. So when the guys got back, just really want to kind of let them know how important it is about, how we feel about them and the love it is and just decision making when they do have time to go home. And so just kind of put a lot of things, in perspective. And so, we'll hit the film today and get ready for a really good Alabama State team.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach, and condolences to your program. We'll now open it up for questions for Coach. First question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Good morning to you, Coach T.
What's up, Mr. Stevens?
All right. Yeah, you had touched on this just a minute ago about Stank King. Can you tell me a little about just your relationship with him? Because I know he had signed with you, was a part of the program, I believe, but then I think he may have left the program. But if you can kind of go back, maybe their relationship with him and maybe his status with the team and perhaps after the team.
Yeah, I recruited Stank out of high school. Knew his folks, high school coach, but academically, he wasn't eligible. So he got here for a semester and then left and returned. I just saw him before he went home, and the whole deal was, make sure your grades good because in the spring you have opportunity to be a part. He's seen the success some of the other walk-on kids had, and he all knew all the guys. They kind of took it tough, being in the meeting yesterday. And so they knew who he was. And, just an unfortunate situation. It hit dear to me because it's, a kid I recruited, but also in my area. And so just senseless violence, being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And so, the guys, they knew him and, we had a really good relationship.
So just to follow up, was he part of the program or was he a scholarship? He wasn't on the he wasn't with the team. Okay.
No,
but
he wouldn't.
Okay,
he
but
wasn't with the team.
Okay, but he was a member of the team at one time, right?
No, he was never officially a part.
Okay.
Because academically, once he didn't make it, we couldn't allow him to be on it. But he just always came around, and his deal was just making sure academically he gave himself opportunity. And right before we left on Thursday, I told him, hey, look, go by the academic center, make sure you on pace to be where you're supposed to be, so you have a chance in January.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Coach. And again, my condolences go out to you and the Alcorn State family.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm blessed. What's up with it, Doc?
I'm doing good. Sorry for about the loss for the program. I know you're going down to Mobile this weekend for Alabama State. What are some things that you see that you think you could take advantage of in this game, offensive and defensive wise?
Them guys are really coached up well. Coach Rob, has done an awesome job, and it ain't too many, weakness in that football team. You see the 2 quarterbacks go down early in the year and you just watch them find ways to win at the end of the day. Sound running game. Those guys up front, do a really good job of creating a new line of scrimmage. And defensively, they're going to always be at the top 3 in all the statistical categories. So we got our hands full. We got to do a good job of, throwing the football and getting our athletes to some windows in space, but also we got to be who we are. And we got to run the football, and we got to be able to stop the run. And so if we do that and play sound in the kicking game, we'll have just as good a chance we have every Saturday in conference.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Hey, Coach, condolences on the loss. I want to talk a little bit more about the impact that you and your staff have on predominantly African American men by having them in your football program and providing them structure, and talk about that aspect of the impact you all have on young men.
That's a really good question. And it's everything in this landscape. I've been at a non HBCU, and you don't always get that. It's our calling. It ain't necessarily about the financial gain, but it's the development. I had great coaches that come from great lineage that saved my life, and it was the structure of the hard work, the discipline, and all those characteristics that came with the game. It's just I couldn't see in everyday life, but football was that unit. In the great leaderships I had in the HBCU sector, where back in the day, these guys was making nickels and also was teaching. So not only did you had that relationship with them, on the field, but then you had to take a lot of their classes because, some was ADs and some was also, PE teachers and also other teachers. So it was no way that you couldn't cross paths in them on or off the field. And so that's our calling. At the end of the day, I know the W's and L's. That's fine, when it comes to who has the highest score at the end of 4 quarters, but also them W's and L's line up a whole lot more when they're successful, and they can use this football as a format for living. And so I think that's who we are, whether we signed up for it intentionally or not. I just think, when you have that purpose and that calling and understanding we're servants of these young brothers, then, there is no losers, in this whole situation. So I know that's what I signed up for, because that same gamut was the one that saved my life. And I know that's my calling to be able to do the same thing for these young brothers. But it's everything that we do inside this program. Everything we do is associated with life, and also get these young brothers a format for living so they can go out and be productive citizens once this thing over with.
Coach, to you and your staff and the rest of the coaches on this call, we want to thank you all for what you do for our communities.
And we appreciate it. I know sometimes we, it's a lot, and it's a lot of adverse and stressful situations, but just that gesture alone, let us know our work is not going unnoticed. And every day we get up and put our feet on the floor. At the end of the day, that's what we're striving out to do, to make sure these brothers, got opportunity to be successful when it's all over. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Thomas with Alcorn State? All right, we got one final question, Coach. It'll go to Stephen Robinson.
Coach, just to follow up on what you touched on earlier about gun violence right now, especially among our Black youth, can you just stress the importance of putting down the guns and settling your differences in a different manner other than violence?
Yeah, we just, we got to find some type of conflict resolution. And I can only speak from, my hometown. Stephen, you watched me from, high school, middle school, through sports, and I had some of those same opportunities, to be in those situations. And so we just got to get together as leaders of our community and just continue to talk to them, and continue to stress the importance of it. And we got to fight as much as and hard as the negative energy and the devil, because, some components, it's you can't save them all. Well, that negative energy and that devil it's not having that same thought process. It's still fighting me every day, and I'm over 45 years old, but every day I'm still associated with some type of negative force to try to get me in that situation. So I can only imagine the 17, 18, 19-year-old brain is going through the exact same thing. It's really not equipped with those skills yet. And so we just got to fight as hard, and leaders from all components just got to get these young brothers together and understand there's other ways to solve problems besides that.
All right. Thank you, Coach, and wish you well this week.
Yes, sir. Keep doing what you're doing in the area, man. It means a lot.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Bethune-Cookman and Coach Raymond Woodie. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
I'll tell you, we had a good, thought it was a good atmosphere, good showing, by both teams. Obviously, we fell short. Our homecoming, we had Jackson State, which is a really really good team in all aspects: offense, defense, special teams. We first half, I mean, we probably couldn't play a better half than what we did, unless we would have stopped the middle. We always talk about the middle eight. We scored 3 out of 4 opening drives, and we allowed Jackson State to score right before the half, and then second half they scored right after, and we knew that winning the middle eight would be a key in our success. We had some second half penalties and crucial situations that hurt us from sustaining drives we had in the first half. Then we were playing obviously from behind. We didn't slow down the run game. I mean, those guys, we didn't tackle well. To be the team like that, you have to tackle. You have to be good technique, fundamentally sound. And they ended up making adjustments, man coverage, sending extra people to our protection, and which was good. Coach TC did a great job halftime and slowed us down a little bit, and they ended up finishing us off. But I thought that it was a good atmosphere. I mean, we gave it our best shot, but that wasn't good enough. We definitely need to improve on our tackling. We gave up too many yards on the ground.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning.
In the second half, Jackson State tend to bring a lot of pressure coming in from the middle with a middle blitz. Where in the third quarter they gained 190 yards to your -1. What was the things that you want to try to do coming up into this next game to kind of not repeat that same scenario?
Well, we got to execute on all cylinders, and then also just making sure that we're attention to detail when we see certain coverages, and like we did in the first half. I thought we made some adjustments, whereas second half we didn't make those adjustments that we thought that we should have made, and we have to be able to make those adjustments in order to execute. And that's what it is. Like I say, hat goes off to Jackson State because they ended up, playing man coverage, and we didn't get our checks, and it ended up hurting us.
And my second question is with Luke Sprague, you rolled him out to start the game. Some people figure you was going to go with Cam Ransom. What's the things that you saw with Luke in this game, particularly when he's rolling to his right, which is his predominant hand, where he pretty much made some timely throws, especially the first one for a touchdown in the first quarter?
Well, Luke, that's his game. I mean, obviously we felt like we was going to go, under center, which he can, and then also from the gun. I mean, he's a smart player. I mean, he sees things that the normal person don't see, and I just think that, we prepared him first half to do exactly what he did. We just didn't execute that second half.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mr. Daniels.
Coach, I know this season hasn't gone the way you anticipated, but if you could talk about the experience of coaching your son and how that has been.
Well, it's been great. I mean, just, obviously coach him just like any other player on the team. I mean, he understands it. He done been around it, so it's, coming to work, go to work, but at least you get an opportunity to be around to see him, continuously, develop. So it's been good.
And you've been pleased with the decision. This young man could have gone to one of the bigger schools and played. And you're pleased with him where he currently is and his career choosing Bethune-Cookman.
Yes, I mean, like I said, he surprised me, and I'm thankful that he did, get an opportunity. He already has his degree, and to decide to play for his dad, you know, his final season. I mean, that was big time, not just to me, but the entire family.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. Good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. Outstanding. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. We saw the your quarterback, Luke Sprague. He had a amazing first half. And he was showing promise. Can you talk a little bit about Luke Sprague and if he has any additional eligibility left? And just talk a little bit about the game for his first half of
Well,
the
he's like I say, he's a smart young man. Obviously, he's not a dual threat guy, but you know, he thinks smart. He plays smart. He's a guy that captain. You know, the players voted him as a captain, even though he wasn't a starter coming in. But he's an encourager. You know, I was excited for him. You know, to be able to, you know, put it together. Obviously, would have loved for him to finish it because he works every day, all day. You know, he's a guy that constantly in this building, and he has one more season of eligibility left. And like I say, he just got to keep working. He just got to keep competing because those guys know that they have to come to work and go to work. Nothing is given to them, and you know that's what happens when you come in, changing the culture. You know, those guys need to understand that. You know, if you compete and you beat that guy out, you're gonna play.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Woody, I hope you and everyone in Daytona are well. Just talk a little bit about the next opportunity. November 2nd, you get an opportunity to play another SWAC football game, and just the thought process going in.
Well, I know Coach Joseph, he's going to have those guys ready to go. I mean, we're going to, like I say, keep working. I mean, really good football team we're going to face, and we just got to keep preaching and harping on the technique fundamentals and attention to detail, you know, with our guys. And like I say, we're excited to be in a position to have another opportunity to play a really good SWAC team.
Coach, playing football games at home, how good is that when you have your fan and your band, Let's Go Wildcats, and all the VCU nation behind you?
It's awesome. I mean, you know, and like I said, we doing it the right way. We want to make sure that we give all we can give, you know, to represent this program, and it's always good to play home in front of your community.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we go over to Florida A&M and head coach James Colzie. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing this morning?
Great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
First and foremost, this opportunity to come back home. You know, we hadn't played a home game since August 31st. Obviously, for obvious reasons, you know, moving the game against Alabama A&M because of Hurricane Helene. But you know, it was a blessing to be back. Guys played well. We found a different way to score. Obviously, with Jamar Gasser getting a chance to, you know, finally return a punt for a touchdown, but still searching to find a way to put really, you know, a good 4 quarters together. Looked like we played a good Southern team, played a 2.5 quarters well, and the other half, you know, other quarter and a half, wish we could have maybe done some things differently, but you know, it's tough to win this conference. It's tough to beat some of these good teams in this conference, and I know that you know, at the end of the day, I was telling the guys last night, you know, it's just, you know, you got to be excited about the opportunity to win, and we took advantage of that.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills are well. Mr. Richardson, 25 of 32 for 274, 2 TDs and 1 pick. When you think about his progress and his development, what are you seeing from that young man?
Well, he'll talk to me about the 7 that he may have missed. That's the standard that he holds himself to. Made some really, really good decisions. Had some big time throws that we needed from him on 3rd down. But for him, he wants to try to reach perfection as much as he can, right? So, we talked about the 7 incompletes. He had the interception in the red zone. So that's our conversation. When he's stepping and throwing it to the right guy and taking what the defense gives, he puts us in a really, really good spot because he's getting to our receivers, our tight ends, and our running backs, giving them the opportunity to make plays. So, we're doing a good job. Obviously, we feel we have not just one of the best, but the best in the conference as well as the country. And when he's rolling, our offense is rolling as well.
Coach, Texas
Right.
Southern comes in.
Mr. Hill, if I could step in real quick, I do apologize, but we've got several questions in the queue, so we're going to have to limit the questions to one initial question. Please feel free to re-raise your hand to get your additional questions answered after we make this first round. Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, Doc, what's going on, boss?
I'm doing good. Team had over 400 yards of total offense, where you actually did run the ball a little bit better this time around, going for 128 yards. What was the thing that you kind of adjusted to as far as in this game, especially in the second half?
Well, just execution. Understanding the situations in the game. A lot of those yards that we got rushing was late in the game when opportunity to put a good Southern team away. I just think that when guys are stepping, guys are hat placement is correct. Feet are continuing to move forward. Our running backs are getting their timing down. It's not like we haven't tried to run the football. I've said early in the year I thought we had one of the best offensive lines in the conference. Thought we had some of the best running backs in the conference, but the execution was at an all-time high this past game, and I think a lot of people got a chance to see that, right? So we had more rushing yards than the other side, and again, we're going to continue to try to be as balanced as we can, because when you get Daniel Richardson just back there throwing the football, it doesn't make him as effective as he needs to be. So we got to be able to do both, and just be more balanced at times. But sometimes the run may need to set up the pass, and also pass may need to set up the run. So Coach Henry, I thought, did a really, really good job at halftime making some adjustments. And again, Southern's one of the best defenses in the country, so we had to do some things differently and get the ball to number 2 in certain situations. And for the most part, I thought we did a good job this past Saturday.
Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Next question goes to Larry Hill. All right. Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Keisha, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Always good to talk to you. So I know it's homecoming and everybody is coming home. Talk about the excitement that the players are having again, because we know how it is in Bragg Stadium, and it's still all about executing and winning the game. But how excited are alumni and the players to be playing for homecoming for possibly or hopefully another win?
Well, I don't think it hit our guys just yet, right? Obviously last night we practiced, and we worked on corrections with Southern, and then we kind of gave a little bit of an introduction to Texas Southern as well last night. And today is our off day as far as an academic day. So, while our staff continues to continue to build our game plans for this upcoming game, but you see the posters, you see the post on social media. Our guys know who's coming and who's not coming, and et cetera, et cetera. We're making way for people who can't come to the game as a sellout. We're allowing them to watch it at Lawson. So, I can't hide it from the guys, but they do understand the emphasis for homecoming, because we've had to play another team, right? We had to play a team for their homecoming. So, I think the thing for us is obviously just making sure we try to not necessarily major in the minors, big time atmosphere as it is. The majority of the time we do play at Bragg Stadium, but we still got goals that we're trying to reach, and those can get derailed if we don't take care of our business on Saturday. So, yeah, they know it's a big time atmosphere. That's part of the reason why they decided to come to this institution. But we still got a game to play. because homecoming's about everything else, but the biggest thing about homecoming is the game, and I think that's some of the things that our guys are continuing to understand, and our veterans are continuing to portray to some of our newer players.
All right. Well, good luck and happy homecoming.
Hey, thank you very much.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Perry, how you doing, boss?
I'm doing well, sir. Coach, can you talk to me about Jamari Gassett, 5 catches, 118 yards and a touchdown, and defensively James Ash, 9 total tackles, 1 sack, and a loss of 5 yards with that 1 sack?
Well, 2 guys that we expect a lot from. Every time we line up, 2 guys that came in from Division I programs and have etched their names into a lot of the things that we do here offensively and defensively. James Ash is a big dude in the middle, man, number 0, and he controls the line of scrimmage for us. And when he's playing well, we're a little bit of a force on defense. Jamari Gassett is a guy that I know a lot of the defenses ID, and we've had to be a little bit more creative of trying to find ways to get him the football. We're lining him up at different spots. He's a guy that we know that is starred or asterisk by a lot of the defense that we play against. So, we've had to get creative, giving him, some jet sweeps and lining him up in different spots, because he's a guy that if he gets over the top, he can cause some damage. Where last couple games, he scored 3 touchdowns with 1 being a punt return. And, and again, when D Rich and number 2 are going what they need to do and getting the ball in space and allowing him to make some moves, we can do some good things. So excited when those 2 guys are going. And for us to have success, we need those 2 guys to be playing at a big time level.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
All right, next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, can you take us back to some of your greatest memories of FAMU homecoming and what those experiences were like?
Well, winning, obviously the last couple of years, and winning the homecoming, the crowds. I mean, I felt like last year compared maybe to my first year, I thought we had more outside than inside, and that just tells you about all the people, the attendance and things of that nature. But I can tell you this, when I traveled around and when I was talking to the boosters and the alumni and doing my best to raise money and everyone telling me that they were going to be at this game specifically, they always ended with "we better win." So those are the things that you hear from the alumni, and again, understanding that it's for us to continue to have our goals in sight, right? We know, obviously, we're kind of on the outside looking in right now as far as where we are standing wise, and but until further notice, we still got a chance to to put ourselves and be first in the East. Got to have some things happen for us, but we have to win our games, right, to still have an opportunity to be a part of the conversation in regards to the SWAC championships. Those are the things that we're holding to truth. We got to make sure that we do that to our best of our abilities. And again, that just happens to be a homecoming this weekend. Yup, excitement. Yup, all the things that are going to come along with it. The special guests, the numerous ticket requests and sideline passes that I'm having to deal with. But the biggest thing for us is once we kick off, right, when homecoming starts, when that game starts, that's ultimately the most important thing that we have to make sure we take care of once Saturday does arrive.
Last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. In the post-game press conference on Saturday, Jamari Gassett described your program as being winners, and you guys expect to win. Knowing the situation you guys are in, trailing in the SWAC East, what's that challenge of you guys are going to take with you for the rest of the season, having to overcome that and try to win the division? Obviously, you have to do that, but what does it mean to be winners at FAMU and try to exceed expectations of winning the division this year?
Well, we're in playoff. We're in a playoff scenario right now, right? Where any mishap that we have, puts us in an even tougher situation. So when we dated back to 2022, initially when we lost to Jack State the first game of the year, we knew that we needed to make sure we played at our best, the rest of the season, and then we ended up winning 9 straight, right? So those are the things that we're holding true. A lot of our guys that are on this team currently were a part of that scenario. So again, outside looking in, but we got to make sure we take care of what we need to take care of, control the controllables, which is making sure we take care of each day, getting ourselves ready to play. And then this week, a really, really good Texas Southern team who just came off another big-time win for themselves as well. So they're going to come down ready to play. We know they're going to come down prepared. Coach Dishman has done a great job instilling what he needs to instill systematically, philosophically. So they're going to come in ready to play with the chip on their shoulder, right? Understanding that they may have been chosen as a homecoming opponent. So for us, we got to make sure we take care of what we can take care of, and that puts us in a playoff mode where any mishap, we must win every quarter, win every snap, win everything that we're doing just to continue to hopefully fulfill our goals that we set for ourselves in the beginning of the season.
Coach Colzie, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Hey, thanks again, and good luck to everybody this week.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, next we go over to Grambling State. Head Coach Mickey Joseph. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature. If there are several questions in the queue, we ask you please limit your questions to one initial question. Please feel free to re-raise your hand. If time allots, we'll circle back to get additional questions answered. All right, we're going to work to try to get connected to Coach Joseph with Grambling State. We appreciate your patience. We'll be back momentarily. All right, we're experiencing some technical difficulties with Coach Joseph's connection. We will try to reach him. We may adjust his time slot to 12:05 if we're unable to get him connected here quickly. All right, we're having some challenges with our connection with Coach Joseph, so we will work to get him rescheduled for 12:05 today. And we'll begin here momentarily with Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Alonzo Hampton. He'll join us here just a minute or so. We appreciate your patience. All right, once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, we ask that you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi Valley State.
Obviously, it was homecoming for us. Hadn't won a homecoming game since 2019 versus Lane College. So it was good for us to get back on the field. Told the guys all week, we knew what we were facing. Mississippi Valley, they play hard. They just like us. Guys that got a chip on the shoulder. So we knew it was going to be a physical game. And they came out really, just kind of took it to us early in the game. And the good thing, the rain came, was able to go back inside and kind of get back on track. And then it was still just nip and tuck all the way to the fourth quarter. Both teams, we ended up getting a stop and we're able to hit two big plays on them to kind of put the game away. But it was a really good football game. Happy for our program, happy for our kids. Still trying to learn how to win. So that was good. And now we're on to the next one.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. So after this past weekend, you're now 3-1 at home, still looking for that first road win of the season. And I know you've played some really good teams on the road, and Jackson State will be yet another good team. Is there anything that stands out to you that explains the reason why you've won these games at home, but haven't so far found that win on the road yet?
You just said it. First of all, we're building a program, and I tell people this. First of all, you lose big. All right, we did that the first year. Second year, you lose close. We lost to Alcorn close. We were up 14-0. In the fourth quarter, game was tied. We still learning how to win. Then we go down to Grambling. The game is tied in the fourth quarter. Again, we're learning how to win football games in the fourth quarter. We haven't made the plays that's necessary. We hadn't really paid attention to the details. And so that's the reason that we haven't won on the road. And obviously those teams are good. And now we got another tough one this week. I heard somebody say earlier, it's a reason that you keep getting scheduled for homecoming because people think you easy win. So that should be, we don't need it for motivation. At the end of the day, as a competitor, you want to beat the guy in front of you. And we're trying to get that mindset for our players and our coaches and everybody involved with this program. When you step across that line, it's me versus you. And so the teams that we played, they've kind of taken it to us, and we just been able to not stay consistent for 4 quarters. Last week was a little different for us because we actually won the fourth quarter, but those 2 conference games that we lost on the road, the other team made more plays than we did.
And Coach, you guys have played some really good rushing offenses this year. And Jackson State's, again, another one of those teams that can run the ball. How does their rushing offense compare to some of the other good ones you faced, and what's it going to take to slow them down?
I'll be honest, probably the best football team we played since University of Central Arkansas, and I think they may be ranked FCS top 10. But Coach has done a really good job at Jackson State, man. They big on the offensive line. They got about 3 running backs, possibly 4. Quarterback is seeing it really well. They got receivers that they look like a group of 5 school. And so obviously we played them when I was at ULM when they had it was Dion and them, and we beat them like 12-9 or something like that. But a lot of those kids, a couple of those kids actually played for us at ULM. So hats off to them. They've done a really good job, and that's the reason why they're leading that side of the conference, man. If they do what they need to do, they'll have a chance to play for the SWAC championship. So we got our work cut out. man, we're gonna have to stop the run. That's what they do. They've been able to run the ball on everybody, and we've been kind of bend don't break. We're gonna get a couple more bodies back on defense. We need them, and we just literally been down bodies. And so even this past week, people been able to run the ball on us, but God giving us a little grace, and we've been able to make a couple plays when we need to make them. So that's gonna be that.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Congratulations on the homecoming win on Saturday. For most of the third quarter, y'all was deadlock at 21 apiece, and then in the fourth quarter, you got the 911 connection, Makai to Giovanni to get it going. We talked about that connection before, but in crunch time, tell us how you feel about them when it comes to crunch time.
Well, I mean, obviously, those two guys have a really good connection, but Makai's just seeing it. He's seeing the football field. He's seeing the defense that people are giving him, and he's throwing the ball where it needs to be thrown. I mean, for whatever reason, people keep playing him one-on-one, and then Makai, man, it's like for him, those two guys, they work so hard, and when they see that, it's just like an instant connection. But, we've been able to spread the ball around, got a couple more guys. Obviously last week, starting tight end, the guy that led the team in catches against Graham, he didn't even play. And so we had the other tight end back. So we'll get a couple more guys back this week on the offense side of the ball as well. So, but I'm happy for those two guys. But, and again, man, we got one more guy I really, really, really want to get involved. This kid, it's just the ball hasn't gotten to him, but he can flat out play. So, man, we were still a work in progress. Coach Hull is doing an amazing job. I tell people he's the first guy I tried to hire. He's like a brother to me. We worked together at ULM for 2 years. Man, he sees the game in a way most people don't see it, and so he doesn't panic. I'm a little more high strung. Coach Hull is not, and so that's kind of why we work well together. But I'm happy for him. He's getting the opportunity to call it, and then our guys on offense, the offensive staff's doing a good job to help him out.
Okay. Do I have another time for another question? Or
Yeah, let me get Mr. Hill in, and Doc, you can re-raise your hand.
Okay.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Pine Bluff are well. The opportunity to go on the road to Jackson, talk a little bit about going over there and trying to get one, the us against the world mentality. If you don't have on black and gold, just talk about locking in and what it's like to go in and try to get one.
Well, obviously, we talk about the 4 fights daily. You talk about public perception. You talk about fatigue. You talk about division from within and us versus them. That's really all it's about. It's about the golden lines versus them. And they schedule you for their homecoming for a reason. All right, they think you're going to come here, you're going to lay down. They think you'll play hard for a quarter. Can you put 4 quarters together? They don't respect you. So let's go out there and show the world who we are. We're building a program here. Man, they got everything they need over there. It's a beautiful place. So I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to get on that big long bus, drive for 4 hours, take about 80 guys with us, support staff, about 120 guys total, and you get a chance to lock on. Because at the end of the day, hey, it's our 11 against their 11, and let's see who wants this thing the most. And they're a good football team, and we give them credit. But we get a chance to measure our football team again against a really good quality opponent that is getting the respect that they deserve. I'm happy for Coach TC. Obviously, man, that job means a lot to him, and he's done a really good job. So I'm excited about taking my team down there to be able to face him in this atmosphere.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Hey, Coach, Quentin Sterling, 14 total tackles with a breakup. Talk about him and his impact on your team.
Well, obviously, Quentin, man, is one of the guys that we got from Mississippi. And obviously, we got a lot of Mississippi guys, and that's probably why a lot of the stuff was a little chippy this weekend. But that's just college football, no love lost. But Quinn is really battled for us, man. He out there. He's hurt. He played every snap on defense except one. He was actually our defensive player of the game. He's just all over the field, man. He can do a lot of things for you. And then he's on our punt team, which to me is the most important part of what we do as a football team. And so Quinn, I'm happy for him. He just continued to battle, man. And like you said, he can't practice during the week, but you get him out there on Saturday, man. You know he's going to lay it down for his brothers. So I'm excited for him. And those guys, like I said, we got about 8, 9 Mississippi guys get a chance to go back home to be able to represent, and they know a lot of guys on the other side.
Good luck to you, Coach. Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, going up 28-21 in the fourth quarter, you made a key defensive stop where you got the ball back and you scored your last touchdown to kind of equalize the game. Tell us about the defense as a whole, the defensive unit as a whole.
Obviously, like I said, man, we played a really good team. The record says they owe and whatever, but that's a good football team. That quarterback is really good. We knew we were going to have a hard time stopping him. He runs the ball well. And then, obviously, when you run the ball that well, and they have a really, really good offensive system in place, they got some really good receivers. And now you're trying to stop the run. All of a sudden, they hit you with pop pass. All of a sudden, you're trying to stop the run. They hit you with the wheel route with the tailback. And the quarterback is just doing a really good job. I think he was hurt early in the year. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. So when we got that stop, me and Coach Hull talked about it. I said, man, you better take the shot right now because I don't know how many more stops we got. They were bleeding the clock on us. Man, it was like 3 yards in the cloud of dust, almost like wing T football, but it wasn't. And so you knew it was going to be tough. And just so our kids, to be able to stay in the fight long enough to be able to get up, get that one stop. Then our offense scored. And then we put a little pressure on them. And then we were able to get another stop. They were back in the red zone again. So we got that stop and we hit them with another big play. And so hats off to those guys. But that's kind of really what happened in the game. We knew it was going to be tough. And again, like I said, I got a lot of respect for what they're doing. They very animated, just like me. The head coach is. Got a lot of respect for them. And they'll continue to get better. And I promise you this, I don't think they'll finish and whatever because they're a good football team.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate it. Y'all be blessed.
Thank you. All right, next we will go Coach Kendrick Wade, Mississippi Valley State. Morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's most recent outing at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yes, sir, man. We went out, played extremely hard, played for 4 quarters, just didn't execute in the fourth quarter. Played against a good Pine Bluff team. It was nip and tuck throughout the entire game. And, it came down to a play. 21-21 fourth quarter. We had an RPO called and we had our best player one-on-one, and we had a mishandling of the snap. If we get that snap and we get the ball off, we up 28-21, putting the pressure on them to come down and have to score again. And the ball just hadn't bounced our way, man. That's really what it boils down to the last couple of weeks. Ball just hadn't bounced our way. So we're going to stay at it. And like I said, I was very impressed with the guys, coming off a tough homecoming loss for us, just how they responded. They responded the right way. And like I said, we went out there and it was a really good game. 2 teams excited to be out there. And again, we came up short. We turned our attention to PV. They'll be rolling in town this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Stephen, my man, good morning.
All right. Quick question, Coach, in terms of 3 straight games now you've had the lead at one juncture of the game, only though to be on the losing end. Do you see more promise from your team, the fact that you've had 3 straight leads, or is it more frustrating that the leads have gotten away from you?
I mean, it's both. I mean, you see the promise, but it's also frustrating. You know, the promise is that we've shown the ability to be able to start fast. You know, the frustrating part is not being able to finish the way we need to. You know, like I said, but it's been a bounce, one bounce here or there, a play here or there. So it just hadn't went our way. We could easily be sitting here with a couple wins already. We understand that, and it just hadn't bounced our way. But we're gonna keep chopping at it. You know, I come from a place where, you know, our motto was never say die. So it's the same here. We never say die. We wake up each and every day. We show up every day with the right enthusiasm, attitude, and we're going to keep chopping at it. And we know if we keep doing winning things, eventually winning will find its way here to the Valley.
All right. Thank you, Coach, and wish you well this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Wade, how you doing today?
Doc, good morning, man.
Man, I know tough loss on Saturday, but let's focus on Prairie View. What's the things that you see from Prairie View that you feel like you can make in-game adjustments, especially on the defensive side?
Man, PV is really good offense. They got some skilled guys. You know, Shamar Savage out there on the perimeter. He's a really good player. The quarterback, Jaden Johnson, I've been knowing Jaden since he was about 12, 13 years old. So Jaden is a kid from Memphis, a kid I know very well. They got a lot of playmakers, you know, they can score. You know, they're really good. Got a pretty good running back in the backfield as well. So our thing is, if we tackle the ball, we'll be fine. We had a lot of missed tackles this previous game. So again, I think the coaches have been doing a really good job of game planning. Now we just got to finish the deal. We got to be able to make tackles, and defensively, they're going to challenge you. They're going to get after you. They're going to heat you up. They're going to heat you up, and they're going to play man and keep a middle post safety, and they're going to say you got to beat them. You know, one-on-one, you got to make some plays, and we're looking forward to this opportunity. We hadn't seen a lot of man lately, so getting a team that's going to come in and play some man-to-man, we're looking forward to it.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in the Delta are well. Can you talk about the Valley offense, defense, and special teams, what you're seeing from your Delta Devils so far?
Offensively, we've gotten better. You know, it's been addition by subtraction. You know, we do a whole lot less than we did in the beginning of the year, which allows our players to play faster. You know, we've identified who we are and what we do. We rushed for almost 200 this past game. So, again, that's who we are. We can run the ball. It just opens up things on the perimeter for our guys, and it just clears up the picture for our quarterback and allows him to be able to go out there and go through his reads and progressions. So we've been very impressed with that. Defensively, we've simplified it as well. You know, so again, our biggest thing defensively is once we get to the ball, we got to be able to bring it down. And special team, we just been simple and sound. I let my coordinator go a few weeks ago, and different guys have taken on those responsibilities, and we've just been very simple and trying to be sound with it. It did cost us this past game. We had a chip shot field goal that we missed that would have put us up 24-21 in the fourth quarter versus Pine Bluff. But, you know, we've been consistently sound in all three phases. So, again, we just got to finish the deal.
Next question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Yes, Coach. You touched on the quarterback position. Tajarian had over 100 yards rushing this past week. And one thing I've noticed, you've been pretty much riding that horse more so than you have during the beginning of the season when we saw quarterbacks kind of alternating. Looked like everybody was trying to, I mean, not everybody was trying, but looked like you were getting a look at different quarterbacks in terms of alternating them throughout the game early in the season. But you talk a little about maybe Tajarian and is that kind of the way you're approaching these maybe last four games? He's the guy you're going to ride with regardless if he's playing well or not?
Yeah, he better keep playing well. You know, it's a business, I tell you. He's played well. But I told Coach Johnson, you know, Coach Johnson, you've helped him play well, you know. So our offensive coordinator, like I said, he cut back, and we found out what the kid does well, and that's what we try to do. You know, he's a true dual threat guy. He's not a dual threat where he's gonna try to, you know, shake somebody. I mean, he's gonna drop his shoulder and he's gonna lay into people. So again, I think Coach Johnson has done a really good job as far as simplifying what we need to do. because in the beginning, I think we was doing too much and it allowed the kid to think and made him think a whole lot and didn't allow him to go out there and be the best version of himself. So again, we've simplified it. He's played extremely well. He hadn't turned the ball over, or we had no turnovers, well, with the exception of a blunder on a punt. But again, he's protected the ball, and we've been able to control the clock. I think we had the ball for 30 minutes this past game, so we're in the top 3 in time of possession, and that's who we are. So again, want to be able to control the clock and not make mistakes, and he's done a really good job of that. And we plan on riding with that kid. As long as he keeps doing what we ask him to do, we plan on riding the rest of the year out with him.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. All right, we are maybe a minute or two ahead of schedule for Coach McDowell. We'll be back momentarily. All right. Once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Bubba McDowell with Prairie View A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good, good.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah, good team came in. Texas A&M Commerce, good team building program that's up and coming. Great atmosphere for homecoming for the guys. They knew coming into this game, the atmosphere was going to be there. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the way they played the game this past weekend. And again, we just wanted to make sure that these young men understand the severity of this game, and not only being homecoming, but we also needed a home win as well. Having to have lost 2 home games here, we haven't done that in a minute. So just kind of putting the importance on these guys again. Just not, stay focused, what's around you on the field. And they did a great job of doing that, staying focused. We started out fast, getting 21 points real quickly. And going into halftime, 21-3. Defense did a good job of holding them to 3 points the whole first half. And came out. Got a little lackadaisical in that bottom end of the third quarter. They scored 10, and then in the fourth quarter they scored 14 points. And again, that's just on us as coaches. So we got to figure out when not to. We try subbing a little bit too early, getting a lot of guys more playing time. And again, that's on me. I got to get with the coaches about that, and we've talked about it, should I say? And let's keep our guys in, and sub when we need to sub, when it's necessary. So again, that's on us. But again, overall, we just got to be able to finish the game how we started. And again, like I said, we had a lot of explosive plays using some guys that we knew that can, if we put the ball in their hands, that they can do some damage. And so we got guys that can do that. So challenge the coaches to tweak this offense a little bit better, tweak the defense, put our players in position to make plays. Again, now we're just getting ready to go down, play against a team that scores early, scores fast, man, and start fast. So we got to start fast with them, and going into Valley, we've been there before, and we know what they are capable of doing. Again, definitely their records, definitely not anything indicative of how they play the game. Again, they're like Coach said, they're on the verge, man. So again, we just don't want that to happen against us. We want to go down, match their intensity, and more importantly, exceed their type of intensity, should I say? And and hopefully we can get out with a win. And again, we just continue to play football the way we're capable of playing, defensively, gap responsibility, and secondary, covering up their guys, and offense again, scoring the way that we know how, and we put the ball in our playmakers' hands. Hopefully we can get out of there with a win.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Prairie View are well. You get an opportunity to go over to Valley in Itabena, but talk a little bit about going in there. And now all of a sudden it's November as we get later in the season and going in to focus and get one.
Yeah, again, I mean, we know what type of team they are. We've been studying. Again, we know what they're capable of doing. And again, we just got to go and play Prairie View football. Again, we play anything close to where we played, the first half of this past weekend. Again, we're going to be okay, and that's been our biggest nemesis, playing two halves of football. So we got to learn how to put, 4 quarters of football together, and we definitely going to have to do that against a good team, coming into our Valley.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, how you doing today?
What up, Doc?
Oh man, James Burns had over 215 yards of total offense, 3 touchdowns combined, receiving and rushing. What is it about him that makes him so special?
He's explosive. I mean, he's very explosive. We saw that again, during our off season, when we went in and looked at him and had opportunity to go after him and wanted to leave, and got a chance to convince him to come here. Again, he's that type of dude. And again, that's where, that's what we have to do. We got to put the ball in our playmakers' hand often. And, he wasn't getting a lot of targets early in the year because he got hurt, in the TSU game. So once he got back, again, it was just about him getting comfortable, running the routes, running the plays that were selected for him, and doing what he do. So, like I said, I challenge Coach Whedon, who I think is a great offensive-minded guy, to find ways to put the ball in our playmaker's hand, and he did just that. And again, as you see, he's very explosive. And again, just putting the ball in his hand, Doc, he can do some damage.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Thanks, Doc.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning, P.
Hey, Coach, another victory over a Southland Conference opponent. If you all are able to win out, Coach, you're going to make a very compelling case to be a part of the FCS playoffs. Are you having that conversation with your team?
No, I mean, technically, Doc, Perry, the only thing we're really worried about, again, just one game at a time, man. Because as I told the guys, we just got to win out, Again, how we're going to win out is really how we prepare each and every week for that opponent that we're playing. So, again, we always say 1-0. Don't worry about what's in the future. And again, if you don't take care of what's going on right now, you can't even worry about what's going to happen in the future. So we're going to, again, just try to keep these guys focused on one game at a time, and hopefully again, if we win out, which I think we can, and again, if we just play, sound football throughout the rest of the games, taking one game at a time, one quarter at a time, as we tell them, we're going to be okay. But again, it's just about, taking on Valley, going down there, and playing against a team that we know is putting up points. We're going to have to stop them, and we're going to have to score, and we're going to have to do some good things on special teams in order to beat this team. So that's what we're worried about right now. And then again, let everything else take care of itself at the end.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. A couple times this season, you've mentioned the inability of either yourself or your coaching staff to get the right personnel on the field during certain points of the game.
Yeah.
Why does that continue to be an issue for your football team?
Well, it's not an issue. I mean, again, I wouldn't say it's an issue. It's just a preference. We got certain packages that we put guys in, and then now it's how do you tweak those packages to benefit us, to benefit our offense, to benefit our defense and also, some special teams. But again, just challenging coaches to put those guys in position to go out and do what we brought them in here to do. Again, it's challenging, but we can do that. I think they can do that. And as you saw this past weekend, again, putting those guys in position to do what they do, it's not hard. It's not hard to answer your question. Again, it's just now putting those guys in the right package to help us score, and also help us stop our opponent, from scoring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And a quick follow-up to that question, Coach. How can you, as the head coach, be more cognizant of that and be better at being kind of like forceful and telling the coaching staff, hey, play this guy or do this or do that?
Yeah, I try not to, because this is what I brought these guys in for, and I trust what they see and what they've been working on. But again, if I have to step in, and that's my job as a head coach, I have to be able to see that during the course of the game and say, hey, you know what? This guy's not getting it done. Let's put somebody else in there. Whether it be offense, defense, or special teams. Again, you don't want to keep someone in there that's not getting the job done. You want to always, again, as you guys know, this game hasn't changed. It's always about putting your best players on the field. And if we do that in every unit, we're going to be pretty darn good. And again, as a head coach, that's my job to see that those things get done.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking again next week.
Thank you, guys. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you. All right, next up, we go over to Southern University. Coach Graves, once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Graves with Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
You're good, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Florida A&M.
This past weekend, we had the opportunity to go to Tallahassee, Florida, and take on a very good Florida A&M football team. It's great atmosphere, great crowd. I thought our guys did a great job of handling the crowd. Hats off to Coach Colzie and his staff. They did a really good job winning the football game. I was disappointed because I thought we had an opportunity to win the football game. We missed a lot of opportunities and offensively, and then we gave up some big plays on defense, and we gave up a punt return on special teams, which something that we haven't given up. And so all around, I thought that we didn't play well enough to win the game. And we just got to get back to the fundamentals and get ready for this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Jim.
The quarterback situation looks like it's back on the table. Are you thinking that way this week? Is it going to be a lively battle in practice to see who starts?
Yeah, we gotta always scratch where it itches, and we definitely gotta figure a way to get off this roller coaster at the quarterback position. The inconsistency has really hindered what we're trying to do offensively, and it's very unfortunate because I thought we missed some golden opportunities to put points on the board and possibly win the football game had we done that. And we gotta go back to the drawing board and not so much of what we're doing. We got to get that position to really hone in and be consistent with that play.
Did the film show? It looked like y'all ran the ball fairly successfully. Is that what the film showed? That the offensive line, the running backs were okay?
Yeah, we ran the ball. I mean, we ran the ball really well. I mean, there were times where we were getting 5, 8, 10 yards a run. And, and that's the thing, we were running the ball well enough to put anytime you can run the ball 2 times and you get in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, or 3rd and 3 situations, that means you're doing a really good job of running the football. Now it's just a matter of executing because, a lot of times they're going to bring pressure and things of that nature. So you have to do some other things
in terms of passing to to kind of offset what they're doing. And we just, 2 of 16 on third down conversions. You're not going to beat anybody consistently, and let alone a team that's ranked defensively nationally and a very good football team. It's hard to do. And the thing of it is, we're missing wide open throws. And that's very unfortunate. Now we got to turn around and put the defense back on the field. And so we got to find a way to get that fixed.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, Keisha, how you doing?
Good afternoon from ATL.
Good afternoon.
So, Coach, you drop one to FAM. You go in to face Alabama A&M in Huntsville, which also dropped one to Alabama State. Are there any things that you are necessarily focused on going up to Huntsville to play the Bulldogs this upcoming weekend?
Well, Keisha, we gotta fix. We gotta fix what we need to fix, and we gotta focus on us first and foremost, and we'll do that tonight when we go out and practice. We gotta correct that first, and then we'll introduce Alabama A&M to the team. But we gotta go back and we gotta make sure that those guys understand what we have to do and what we need to do in order to be successful. Because it's not complicated what we're doing. But you got to pay attention to detail and you got to execute it. Yeah, all plays are designed to score. All plays, defenses are designed to stop. But if you don't execute them, then it's just that. It's just plays. And going to play Alabama A&M, they just came off a tough loss to their in-state rival, Alabama State, in the Magic City Classic. And knowing Coach Maynor, as long as I've known him, he's the ultimate competitor. He understands, you got to be ready to go because he's going to have the full gamut ready, his trick plays, his regular plays. He's not afraid to pull the trigger, he's not afraid to go for it. And so, he's always been that way. He's been a winner. So we got to be ready to go.
All right, well, good luck. I'll see you in Huntsville, and I might save you a plate from the tailgate.
Thank you.
All right.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Coach. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey, Coach. Noah Biden seemed to, as you just expressed, his downfield accuracy was not there this week. And even on his mid-range throws, they seemed to be high. Was there an injury or was this a part of some of the anxiety issues he expressed or that he showed earlier on in this season?
I think it was more of an anxiety deal. I'm not aware of any injury that would, he had an injury a few weeks ago, but he's been playing. It didn't slow him down. He got dinged a little bit, but it's just making the throws. I mean, he got guys running across the middle of the field wide open, and we're throwing it high, or we're throwing it behind them, or we're just missing wide open guys. I mean, at some point in time, that was week 8, and we gotta settle down and just trust what the reads are. We gotta trust what the reads are, and we gotta execute and complete those things. I mean, again, we ran the ball well enough to set up the pass, and now we have to complete those passes, because what happens is once we struggle completing passes, now defenses can load the box, and that's what FAMU did in the second half. They they started loading the box up. They were playing 7, 8, and then they bring another safety down. So now you're talking about 9-man box. So you got to be able to throw. You got to throw the ball effectively in order to give ourselves a chance to win the ball game, and we just didn't do that.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Baton Rouge are well. Can you talk a little bit about your team, offense, defense, and special teams as you head in to play the Bulldogs on the road?
Well, I thought, defensively, we've been playing well for the most part all year. We still have to eliminate the big plays. We're giving up big plays. We gave up a big play
Saturday night against Florida A&M for a touchdown, and that was just, to me, it's just lack of concentration. To give up a big play in zone coverage because of a busted assignment, or that's really concerning, and we got to fix that. But they are playing well. We dropped a clutch interception, another opportunity to get off the field. The game was still in play. It was a 8-point ball game, and we dropped a crucial interception. And the very next play, they scored a touchdown and kind of put the game out of reach. So we got to be opportunistic, and we got to lock in and focus on details. And we got to, when we get fatigued, we got to really trust our techniques defensively with our tackling. Offensively, we got to continue to do what we got. We got to stay on our blocks. We got to sustain blocks. We got to make sure we protect. We got to throw and catch the football. I mean, there's no other way to say it. We have to throw and catch the football on offense. We're running the ball well. We're running the ball well enough to win football games. Now we got to throw and catch. We got to put it all together and execute what we're doing offensively. And the kicking game, we got to be more consistent in our coverage. We got to tackle. That was very disappointing to have that number of guys around a returner and we don't make the tackle. And it's not as if we don't practice those things in practice. We got to carry what we practice into game situations. So we got to get back, well, not get back to it. We just got to focus and hop in on the fundamentals and techniques that we're using. And we'll be fine if we do that.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Graves, how you doing today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. In the game, you, like you said, you was running the ball real well in the first half, and then in the second half, you kind of went away from the run and started going towards the pass, especially when you put T-Set into the game for Biden. What are some things you want to try to change up for the next game against Alabama A&M?
No, we didn't get away from the run game. Again, as I stated earlier, we still ran the football in the second half. The thing of it is they made adjustments as well. And when they start putting 7, 8 and bringing a ninth guy into the box, I mean, you have to try to throw the football. You can't consistently try to run the football versus 7, 8-man fronts. That's just not smart. And so we gotta be able to throw and catch. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what we were doing run-wise. I thought we ran the ball well, but we also have to throw the football. We gotta be able to throw and catch the football. It can't be just run. I mean, we got to be able to throw and catch and as well as run. They have to complement one another, and that's why I always say balance is based on what we're getting. It's not based on 50-50. It's based on what's going on that time of the day. So we just got to make sure that we're getting consistent, and we got to execute what we're doing in order for us to go up and play against a good Alabama A&M football team that's going to defend at home, and they're going to be ready to go.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Graves, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you. Everybody have a great week.
Appreciate it. All right. Next, we go over to Texas Southern and head coach Chris Dishman.
Hello, everybody. How things going?
Hey, good morning, Coach. Coach, first and foremost, thank you for taking some time to join us. As always, we appreciate your time. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Grambling State.
Well, it's always good to get a victory. We finally got a victory in our cousin's house, so it's always good to get a victory.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Melvin Bill.
Good afternoon, Coach. How are you?
How are you doing, Melvin?
Good. Can you assess this Florida A&M team? What do you see from this team from your perspective?
Well, just looking at them today, they're a very well-coached team. They don't make that many mistakes. So we can't have as many penalties we've been having. We got to cut down on our penalties in order to beat this team and don't make the mistakes.
What is your assessment of them on offense and defense, and now even special teams?
Well, like I said earlier, they look like they're very well coached. I haven't really got into them. I'm getting them. Today is my day to really get into the team and see what goes on with them. I've been watching their special teams unit already and a little bit of their offense already. So, like I said, like they're very well coached. They're not going to make mistakes. And it's like every player know exactly what they need to be doing on every play.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Dishman, how you doing today?
Doc, how are you?
I'm doing good. That late in the game, you went into the run. You went to your run game, and you used Quintel Quinn down the stretch, where pretty much he put the game away against Grambling. What is the strategy? And what's your strategy is going to be for this FAMU team as far as when it comes to running the ball?
We got to find the hot player. Whoever's hot is going to stay in there and they're going to run. Coach Kimball and Coach Smith has done a great job of finding that player who have the niche of the hot player. 2 weeks ago it was someone else. 3 weeks ago it was Danny. So we try to find that hot player that we have who's able to make those runs for us.
And second question with Jace Wilson, he came in and he commanded the offense for the team. What was the things that you liked about what you saw from him on Saturday?
What did you just said? He commanded it. Yeah, he came in, took control. He was Jace played a lot of games here. He was not rattled on when the score got tied. He just calmed the team down. He did a good job for us. I'm very happy for Jace. He's been rattled with some injuries here lately, and he just bounced back and played a hell of a game for us.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to Terence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Terrence.
Hey, more on Jace Wilson. Can you talk a little about his intangibles? What he sort of brings to the table for you?
Who said again, sir?
Jace Wilson.
Jace he brings a lot to the table. First, he brings leadership. He brings that everyone on the team trusty. So his intangible, he can run. He make smart decisions. He's a quarterback that can lead us to where we want to go to.
Okay. What about and how do you feel like he's handled this season? I mean, maybe even a disappointment of not initially getting the start, and then but eventually getting his opportunity. How do you feel like he's handled just the adversity of the season and all he's had to deal with?
Well, I don't think any adversity towards it's not in no adversity. I think Jace is a professional first and foremost, and he know as well as everyone else know, or you guys should know now, that we play the best players at the right time. We're going whoever practiced well that week get the start. I don't have starters. I would never name starters. I don't know how long I will be at this job, but I would never name a starter. We have 11 players go out on offense, 11 players go out on defense, and those 11 players who go out on offense, defense, and special teams, they practice well during the week.
Okay, thanks.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody there are well. Talk a little bit about homecoming games. When you go out on the road, the fans are right on top of you, the atmosphere. I know you focus on what's taking place in the football game on the field, but how that can present challenges, in this case, Bragg Memorial.
Well, we know it's going to be a tough stadium to play in. I'm watching some of their home games as we speak, and it's a tough place to play. I just have to get our players riled up and play. They scheduled us for homecoming for a reason. You don't schedule a team for homecoming to think you can win. You schedule a team for homecoming knowing you can win.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
All right.
Any final questions for Coach? All right, we've got a question from Melvin Bill. Got a question from Melvin Bill. You're on mute, Melvin.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Coach, it was interesting what you were talking about, that you don't really name starters. It's based on practice. How would you assess, or if you could, explain to me what is the identity of this Texas Southern team here going into week 10 in the season?
Well, our identity is how our players play. As a coach, I could put this bulletin board identity up, I want to run the ball. I want to be physical. I want to do this. I can put all that bulletin board stuff up, but it's not really reality. The reality is I tell the players that you determine the way this team rolls. It's always and always will be a player's game. So if you want to be physical, you play physical. If you want to be fast, you play fast.
Great questions. Great answers. Thank you, Coach.
Uh-huh.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, have a great one.
Thank you. All right, we are a minute or two ahead of schedule. Next, we'll be joined by Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. And thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
It was a good weekend. You know, it was their homecoming, a great football atmosphere down there this weekend, down in Daytona. A great football game, though. They came out and played great football in the first half. 17-17 at the half. We had to go in as coaches, make some adjustments, and found a way to, separate in the second half. Herb Mulligan had a great weekend of football. He ran the football well. We ran for almost 350 yards in that football game. So very pleased with my team. But we're excited to be back home now in the vet. Got homecoming this week against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Hampton has been doing a good job there. I heard him earlier. He's pretty fired up, sounds like, about coming down here to play us. So we look forward to it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. Now, we do have several questions already in the queue. We're going to ask everyone, please limit your questions to one initial question. Feel free to re-raise your hand to get an additional question answered. With that being said, first question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Taylor, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Doc?
I'm doing good. You just said that Irv had a exceptional day running the football, over 171 yards, but he could have had over 250 yards in the game with the sideline interference. What was that about?
The ref, I guess he bumped into one of my coaches on the sideline on that long run, and he threw the flag on us. From my understanding, he said that I thought it would be a warning. It's usually a warning, but he said that I was told that play actually has to come back. So, the ref made the call, and it is what it is at this point. I don't want to say much about it, Doc, but it was a tough deal when you take a play like that away from a kid.
Right. Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem, Doc.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach, I hope you and everybody in Jackson are well. When you think about controlling your own destiny, goal setting and winning, the SWAC and even going to Atlanta, I know it's 1 week at a time, but homecoming, Pine Bluff, and the opportunity to win and take care of business, talk about that 1 week at a time mentality.
Oh, definitely. We as a program, I talk to these coaches, these players, we don't look past no opponent. You saw how Bethune came out, firing on all cylinders on us this weekend. It's about us making adjustments, and not slipping up in these football games, and play every opponent the same. Play our physical brand of football. We want to execute as a unit, offensively, defensively, and special teams. But we're just taking them one at a time, one quarter at a time, and that's the same deal going into this one with Pine Bluff. We know it's homecoming here in Jackson, but Like I told the team, for us, the homecoming is for the fans. You know, we got to go out here and win another conference football game and take care of business this weekend.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach Taylor, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. So, and I kind of like James said, I was going to ask kind of the same question, so I'll kind of go away from that. You talk about playing physical football and going 1-0, because that's what it's about from week to week.
Right.
How do you keep the guys grounded? Because we know everybody's ultimate goal is to get back to Atlanta, but how do you keep the guys grounded in that going 1-0 every week and continue to build playing physical football?
Physicality is something we just instilled and preached all summer with these guys when they were in the weight room, throughout training camp, when they was, beating each other up on the football field, out there on the practice field. You get to play against some physical opponents. Football is a physical game, and that's the only way, championship teams become, they're champions, because, they play a physical brand of football. But, I told them going into the season, the end plan is December, but to get to December, we got to weekly take care of each and every opponent, and each and every opponent brings something different to the table. And but if we're playing physical, we're executing and doing the things we can control. Not turning the football over. I know this football team will be fine going forward.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend, and I don't want to see you out there tailgating now.
Oh, never that. Take care.
Next question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. So far this year, you guys have faced many of the best quarterbacks in this conference, and you've got another one, Mekhi Hagan's, coming to town this week, and he's also got the SWAC's leading receiver in Javonte Gibson. How does this UAPB passing offense compare to some of the ones you've faced already, and what does your defense need to do to slow them down?
Those two guys are right there, like you said, at the top of in the SWAC, for as going out there playing quarterback and receiver position. We just got to know where they are on the field, keep a quarterback like Hagan's bottled up in the pocket. He does a great job of, throwing the football around and escaping when things, aren't clean. So we got to keep him bottled up in the pocket. We've done a pretty good job. Like I said, we faced some really good quarterbacks this year in conference and out of conference. But our D-line understands that, they got to get to the quarterback. That's what they do a good job of. This receiver, he's really good. He might be the best in the SWAC, one of the best in the SWAC. He got good size. They do a good job of scheming things up to get him the football. So we just got to know where he is on the field, and when he catches it, get him to the ground.
All right, thank you, Coach.
No problem.
This question goes to Timona Stapleton.
Morning, Coach. How you doing? Or
I'm
good
good.
afternoon.
How are you? Morning.
I'm good. Thank you. Coach Taylor, the defense allowed several big plays in the first half, but made impressive adjustments to shut out Bethune-Cookman completely in the second half. Were the initial challenges due to expecting the other quarterback, Cam Ransom, to start?
Mhm.
And how did that factor into your early game strategy?
Well, I think they just came out played flat, to be honest with you. I didn't see what I was talking about earlier, that physicality. I didn't see our defensive team speed the way they usually flying around. Secondary gave up a couple big throws right there to extend drives. We had them backed up behind the chains several times. So, we just had to get them motivated, get them going, get the energy level at, where we're accustomed to seeing those guys play. We did make some adjustments, our defensive staff at the half, that we knew would come out and help us out in that second half. But they got to understand too, like I told the defense after the game, you got to come out and be who you are from the beginning of the snaps, beginning of the game, all the way through 4 quarters of football. But first half, like I said, on Saturday, I didn't recognize that defense. Second half was the defensive unit that I was accustomed to seeing. They did a good job in that second half.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Yeah, Coach, I got one more question. Defense in the third quarter, from what I saw, you only gave up -1 yards to Bethune-Cookman, while you gained close to 200 yards of total offense in that third quarter. What was the thing that you saw as far as the defensive wise going into that third quarter, going from the third quarter into the fourth quarter, and what we could take into the next game against Pine Bluff?
They started striking people, and the D-line took control of the line of scrimmage. We had some guys get to the quarterback in that football game, and that's what we preach here at Jackson State: get to the quarterback, make him flush him out of the pocket. Let's get him to the ground, see if he's going to get up off the ground. But they just start playing. We start getting 11 hats to the ball. The whole energy level started to change with those guys. And our offense is always going to feed off of that. In the first half, we had the defense was feeding off the offense. Every time those 2 drives they did go score, we went on there and responded with scores ourselves, and the game was tied at the half. But like you said, third quarter, that was the JSU brand of football that I was accustomed to seeing. And, that's something that they're going to carry into this game. We just got to play our game, the game that we're accustomed to playing. And I know we'll be fine as a football team.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Any final questions for Coach? All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, next we're going to try to get Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Coach Joseph, are you there? All right, looks like we're still having some technical difficulties with Coach Joseph's audio and video. Pause momentarily to see if we can get these resolved. Thank you for your patience. All right. Unfortunately, we are unable to get a connection with Coach Joseph with Grambling State. We do apologize for any inconvenience that this causes any of us. Actually, I think we do have it resolved. Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, they left me alone with this technology stuff, and I'm not good at that.
Understand completely, Coach. Appreciate all that you did to join us. Coach, as always, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule. Coach, if you could just start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Texas Southern.
Well, another tough, close road loss. Close is not enough. We got to do better. I got to do better with them. We got to cut back on the penalties. I just got to see what's going on, and with these penalties, because when I look at the film, it's just not making sense to me. It feels like they're making business decisions with their feelings. So I got to figure that out, how to get past that, and as a grown man, I don't know how to get past that with other grown men about why they're making decisions with their feelings, because it puts us in a bad situation. But I got to be a better head coach. But you take your hat off to Texas Southern. Dishman, the boys, they did a great job. They competed, and it's what SWAC football is supposed to be, with between the lines.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Joseph, how you doing today?
Doc, how you doing?
I'm doing good. What's the status on Miles Crowley? We saw him go out of the game early in the game.
Yeah, he's on his way to Shreveport right now to get get somebody else to look at him. But I think that he's going to probably be out maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. And what was the things that you want to try to do as far as offensive wise with either Delj or Ashton as your quarterback moving forward?
Well, I think the game plan changes a little bit. I think right now they're more of a quarterback run option, but we still